You think you've seen everything in the world of K-dramas? Well, sit down, because Kang Ha-Neul isn't just another pretty face. Before fame, he lived without social media, without money, and far from the spotlight. He was ignored for years, accused of being too nice for Korea, and yet he became one of the most respected actors today. Behind that calm smile, there's a lot you couldn't imagine. Before being acclaimed as one of the most talented and respected actors in South Korea, Kang Ha-Neul was just the son of a little-known theater actor and a housewife passionate about traditional music. His birth name, Kim Ha-Neul, had to be changed for a curious reason. There was already a famous actress with the same name. To avoid confusion, he adopted Kang as his artistic surname, a small detail, but one that shows how from an early age he was already willing to adapt to fit into the entertainment world. The stage, by the way, entered his life well before cameras. Growing up in Busan in a humble environment, Kang was shy, introspective, and very connected to art from an early age. He wasn't the popular type of child at school. On the contrary, he was the quiet boy who preferred writing, reading, and observing, the type of boy who spent more time with teachers than with classmates. Yet, behind this shyness, there was an immense curiosity about the world of acting, a direct influence from his father, who worked in local theatrical productions. Gradually, young Ha-Neul built up the courage to take to the stage as well, but not debuting in front of cameras. The beginning was in musical theater, where he not only acted but also sang and danced. And this requires a level of discipline that few can handle. It was in this rigorous and unglamorous environment that he shaped his work ethic. Long rehearsals, without easy applause, and often without pay. Even with all this, he still managed to study at the prestigious Chung-Ang University in the Department of Theater and Film, the same college that trained names like Hyun Bin and Park Shin-hye. But unlike many colleagues who were already seeking fame from an early age, Ha-Neul simply wanted to be good, not to be famous. And this is a constant throughout his trajectory. The focus on perfecting his art, even when no one is paying attention to him. He creates art out of love. A curiosity that almost nobody knows is that, before deciding to pursue a career as an actor, he considered being a literature teacher, or even a writer. He liked to analyze feelings, dive into fictional characters, and understand the human soul. And perhaps that's why today he interprets roles with such depth. He really cares about what he's portraying. Ha-Neul didn't have a meteoric rise. He came from theater, where few cameras record the mistakes and successes, where the applause is real, but so is the fatigue. And this beginning, far from the spotlight, was what built not only the actor, but also the man he is today. Someone who seems calm, but carries a history of continuous effort, renunciation, and love for art. And perhaps precisely because he comes from theater, where everything is built with time, sweat, and patience, Kang Ha-Neul never seemed to be in a hurry. While others ran after roles with visibility, he accepted small roles, supporting characters, and unassuming scripts, with the same dedication as someone acting in a leading role. For many years, the name Kang Ha-Neul went unnoticed by the general public. He played a role here, another there, usually as the protagonist's friend or the younger brother. His television debut came in 2006 with a small role in the drama My Mom's Supermom. He barely appeared, but for him, being there was already a learning experience. In To the Beautiful You, from 2012, for example, he played a cute but forgettable character. In Monstar the following year, he began to attract a little more attention, not for fame, but for the consistency with which he acted. While many newcomers forced charisma, he was natural, he was real, but the big turning point was yet to come. In 2014, he joined the cast of Misayang, one of the most acclaimed series in the recent history of K-dramas. The drama, which talked about the corporate world, was slow, dense, and full of silences, something quite different from the standard of the time. And it was in this scenario that Kang Ha-Neul shined. His character, an idealistic employee trying to survive in a toxic environment, had an enormous emotional load, and the public realized that there was a different actor there. He wasn't exaggerated, he wasn't plastic, he wasn't perfect, he was human. From there, the invitations began to change in tone. He began to be called not only for larger roles, but for stories with more depth. The public no longer saw him as the handsome actor who plays secondary roles. He came to be considered a real actor, a name worth following. But the moment that catapulted Kang Ha-Neul definitively to the center of Korean pop culture was the historical drama Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Rio from 2016. The cast was star-studded: IU, Lee Joon-gi, Nam Joo-hyuk, Baekhyun, Seo-hyun. But even among so many famous people, Ha-Neul stood out. His character, the 8th Prince Wang Wook, started as one of the public's favorites. But throughout the series, his arc transforms, revealing darker, more ambitious, and complex layers. The transition was made with such subtlety that many viewers said they came to hate the character, but admire the actor even more. After this success, Kang Ha-Neul could easily have settled. But no, he declined several commercial proposals and chose to return to theater. That's right, at the height of fame, he went back to doing stage plays where there are no filters, no edits. no guaranteed applause. It was a choice that shocked the industry, and at the same time, consolidated his image as a true artist who is not there just for visibility, but because he loves what he does. Besides theater, he also ventured into cinema. He participated in films like 20, where he played an innocent and clumsy young man alongside Kim Woo-bin, showing his comic timing and versatility. Later, in the film Midnight Runners, alongside Park Seo-joon, he showed that he could also carry an action and comedy feature, and once again was praised by critics. His career went through another important turning point: mandatory military service. And even this period, which tends to be a hiatus for many actors, ended up playing in favor of Ha-Neul's image. He fulfilled his military duty in an exemplary manner, without trying to avoid it, without trying to advance his return. He even participated in theatrical plays within the army, helping to keep his passion alive even away from professional stages. When he returned in 2019, it wasn't with a gigantic project, but with a sure choice: the drama When the Camellia Blooms. The series was an absolute success in Korea, reaching high ratings and being praised for its emotional and human approach to love, prejudice, and social relationships. Kang Ha-Neul, playing a romantic and slightly clumsy policeman, won the Baeksang Arts Award for Best Actor, one of Korea's biggest awards, outshining more popular names and showing that, finally, recognition had arrived in an indisputable way. Since then, he has maintained a rare balance. He manages to alternate between big productions and smaller projects, always choosing roles that challenge him. And his recent debut in Nothing Uncovered is proof that he continues to bet on emotionally complex stories, even when he could be living in a comfort zone. Kang Ha-Neul didn't need to go viral. His trajectory is made of constancy, intelligent choices, and genuine talent. And perhaps that's exactly what makes his career so interesting. He conquered everything in his own time, without rushing, without forcing, just being what he always was: a born artist, shaped far from the spotlight. And perhaps what impresses most about Kang Ha-Neul, besides his talent and intelligent career choices, is the fact that he built all this without relying on scandals or gratuitous exposure. Because while many actors gain attention through controversies, he always made a point of keeping his personal life under lock and key. Literally. You can scour interviews, variety shows, and even behind-the-scenes footage. Ha-Neul avoids talking about relationships, family, or intimate routine. Not out of arrogance, but out of conscious choice. This reserved posture only fuels the public's curiosity, especially when he demonstrates so much chemistry with his co-stars, as was the case with IU in Moon Lover's Scarlet Heart Ryo. The two were protagonists of intense moments in the plot, and the naturalness of the acting raised rumors that something might have surpassed the screens, but both denied any involvement outside of filming, always with mutual respect. Still, the rumors remain alive among fans to this day. Apart from that, he has never publicly acknowledged any relationship. There are no famous ex-girlfriends, nor compromising snapshots of privacy. And even when rumors arise, usually involving actresses with whom he has acted, Kang Ha-Neul prefers silence. He has already declared that he sees no point in transforming his love life into content, and that he prefers to live this side of life away from the spotlight. When the subject comes up, and it only comes up when someone insists, he shows an almost old-fashioned romantic vision. He has said in interviews that he believes in old-fashioned love, the kind that grows over time based on respect and partnership. He's not a fan of dating apps, doesn't like exchanging messages all day long, and values real connections, with presence and calm. Something that seems simple, but in the world of celebrities, is increasingly rare. All this care, deep down, reinforces the image he transmits on screen, of someone who respects what he does, who is around him, and especially who watches him. Kang Ha-Neul doesn't want to be the crush of the week. He wants to be remembered with consistency, as a complete artist, and perhaps as the last romantic of the Korean K-drama. And it's curious to think that, in an industry where most celebrities stumble at least once in some controversy, Kang Ha-Neul remains practically intact. He has never been involved in scandals with agencies, in public fights, or in controversies with colleagues. And this isn't because he's perfect, but because he really lives on the margins of traditional stardom. He doesn't have social media, doesn't flaunt luxury goods, doesn't attend flashy parties, and rarely gives long interviews. He prefers to go unnoticed when he's not on screen. And this, in itself, is already seen by many as an act of silent rebellion. The most controversial thing that can be said about him is that some accuse him of being too good to be true, literally. Among fans and even fellow professionals, the idea circulates that Kang Ha-Neul has such a gentle, polite, generous personality that he seems like a K-drama character 24 hours a day. He himself has laughed about this in interviews, saying that he's no saint. He just tries to maintain a balanced life and treat everyone with respect. And perhaps that's exactly what makes him so different. In a scenario where celebrities are often shaped by scandals, aggressive marketing, and exaggeration, Kang Ha-Neul has built a solid career doing the opposite, without hurry, without noise, without shortcuts. He won over the public with talent, constancy, and courageous choices, both in the roles he accepted and those he refused. And now, with a taste of love, he shows that he's still willing to reinvent himself. In the end, Kang Ha-Neul is a rarity, an actor who moves without needing to shout, who stands out even while fleeing the spotlight, and who proves with each new role that yes, it is possible to build a brilliant career with silence, subtlety, and a lot of work. And perhaps precisely because of this, it's impossible not to admire the unusual and at the same time so necessary way of being famous.